Pat Boone's life represents a rare intersection of fame, faith, and longevity in American entertainment history. While many stars rise brightly and fade just as quickly, Boone built a career defined not only by success, but by consistency, restraint, and personal conviction. Emerging during the explosive birth of rock and roll, he stood as a striking contrast to the era's rebellious energy, offering audiences a version of popular music shaped by polish, tradition, and moral certainty. For decades, he was often compared to Elvis Presley, sometimes framed as his rival, sometimes as his opposite. Yet the truth of their relationship was far more layered than headlines ever suggested. Now, in the reflective quiet of his 90s, Boone has chosen to speak openly about Elvis, not to rewrite history, but to humanize it. His reflections reveal admiration, regret, empathy, and respect, offering a deeper understanding of two men who shared an era, a spotlight, and the pressures of sudden cultural transformation. Early life and the foundations of character. Pat Boone's story begins far from flashing lights, rooted instead in family, education, and faith. Born in Florida and raised in Nashville, he grew up surrounded by Christian values that emphasized discipline, humility, and responsibility. These principles were not surface-level ideals, but deeply ingrained guides that shaped his worldview. Boone was academically inclined, pursuing higher education with seriousness and intention. His studies in speech and English refined his articulate manner and contributed to the calm, confident presence that later became his trademark. Unlike many entertainers of his generation, Boone did not stumble into fame unprepared. He entered the industry with a strong sense of identity and moral grounding. This foundation would later allow him to navigate an industry often marked by excess without losing personal stability. From an early age, Boone believed that success carried responsibility, not just to audiences, but to personal conscience. That belief would remain constant, even as the world around him changed dramatically. Becoming America's clean-cut star. During the 1950s, rock and roll emerged as a cultural earthquake, challenging social norms and generational expectations. In this turbulent moment, Pat Boone rose as a reassuring figure for audiences unsettled by rapid change. His smooth voice, calm demeanor, and wholesome image positioned him as a bridge between tradition and innovation. While others shocked and provoked, Boone soothed and reassured. His recordings of rhythm and blues songs introduced many white audiences to a sound they had never encountered before, though not without controversy. Critics debated the cultural implications of his success, yet his impact on mainstream acceptance of new musical styles was undeniable. Boone did not see himself as competing with rebellion, but as offering an alternative. Parents trusted him, teenagers adored him, and radio embraced him. His popularity was immense, and for a time he stood just behind Elvis Presley as one of the most successful recording artists in the country. Fame arrived quickly, but Boone carried it carefully, dominating charts and screens. Boone's success extended far beyond music charts. With dozens of top 40 hits and millions of records sold, he became a constant presence in American households. His appeal translated seamlessly to television, where his variety shows showcased his charm and professionalism. Week after week, families welcomed him into their living rooms, reinforcing his image as dependable and approachable. Hollywood followed naturally. Boone starred in numerous films that mirrored his public persona, romantic, earnest, and morally upright. These roles may not have pushed artistic boundaries, but they reinforced trust between Boone and his audience. He was selective, turning down opportunities that conflicted with his values. While this limited some career paths, it strengthened his long-term reputation. Boone became something rare in entertainment, a star whose brand aligned consistently with his personal life. His career was not built on shock or reinvention, but on reliability, a quality that allowed him to endure while others burned out. Faith as a public and private compass. What truly distinguished Pat Boone was his willingness to let faith guide both his private life and public platform. He spoke openly about Christianity at a time when many entertainers avoided such declarations. Through books, lectures, and appearances, he addressed themes of family, morality, and purpose. His writings reached millions, especially young people searching for direction during times of social upheaval. Boone understood that fame amplified influence, and he chose to use that influence intentionally. His advocacy sometimes placed him at odds with prevailing cultural movements, yet he remained unapologetic. Faith was not a marketing tool for Boone, it was the framework through which he understood success, suffering, and responsibility. This commitment earned him admiration from supporters and criticism from detractors, but it also gave his life coherence. In an industry known for contradictions, Boone lived with remarkable consistency, remaining married for decades and grounded in community. Reinvention without losing identity. Even late in his career, Boone demonstrated an unexpected willingness to experiment. His heavy metal cover album shocked audiences precisely because it contradicted expectations. Yet the project revealed something deeper than novelty. It showed an artist unafraid of curiosity, humor, or self-awareness. Boone approached the album playfully, honoring the music rather than mocking it. While reactions were mixed, the effort introduced him to younger listeners and reaffirmed his adaptability. Importantly, he never abandoned his core identity. Reinvention did not mean rejection of values, but expansion of expression. Boone proved that longevity does not require stagnation. His ability to surprise without betraying himself became one of his most endearing qualities. This balance of openness and integrity allowed him to remain relevant across generations, an achievement few entertainers manage. Elvis Presley, beyond the myth. For decades, Pat Boone and Elvis Presley were framed as opposites, rivals shaped by contrasting images. Boone now clarifies that this narrative was largely manufactured. Behind the scenes, there was respect, admiration, and even friendship. Boone describes Elvis as shy, thoughtful, and deeply committed to music. He recognized early that Elvis was more than a performer. He was a cultural force. While their styles diverged, Boone never resented Elvis's dominance. Instead, he understood that Elvis expanded the boundaries of popular music for everyone. Their conversations touched on fame, faith, and fear, subjects rarely discussed publicly. Boone saw the toll stardom took on Elvis and later reflected on the loneliness that surrounded him. These memories are shared not with judgment, but compassion. Boone's reflections strip away legend to reveal a man searching for peace amid chaos. Regret, compassion, and reflection. As Boone looks back, his reflections on Elvis are tinged with sorrow. He speaks openly about wishing he had done more, said more, reached out more. Fame, he believes, isolated Elvis from grounding influences. Boone sensed a spiritual hunger in him, a longing for meaning beyond applause. Rather than condemning Elvis's struggles, Boone frames them as human responses to unbearable pressure. His words are filled with empathy rather than hindsight arrogance. Boone acknowledges that while he chose stability and restraint, Elvis carried the burden of being larger than life. These reflections reveal Boone's emotional maturity and humility. He does not place himself above Elvis, but beside him, as someone who witnessed greatness and vulnerability intertwined. Speaking now is Boone's way of honouring a man he admired, not correcting history, but softening it with understanding, legacy of integrity and endurance. Pat Boone's legacy cannot be measured solely by records sold or charts topped. It rests in the rare alignment between belief and behaviour. His career spanned decades without scandal, anchored by family, faith, and purpose. In speaking honestly about Elvis late in life, Boone reaffirms what has always defined him: compassion, humility, and truth. He emerges not as a rival, but as a witness to an extraordinary era. His reflections invite audiences to see both men more clearly, not as symbols, but as human beings, navigating fame, fear, and longing. Boone's life stands as proof that success need not come at the cost of integrity. In telling the truth now, he leaves behind a legacy not only of music, but of character, one that endures quietly, steadily, and with grace.